Hello and welcome, Star Wars fans, to this week's episode of Duel of the Ranks, a show where we debate takes so hot that they would melt a planet with twin suns. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Amanda and Christian. My name's Brody, and this week we're going to be talking about The Mandalorian Season 3, Chapter 17, The Apostate. By the end of this episode, we'll have a definitive answer on where this piece of Star Wars content ranks amongst the rest. And with that said, let's get this show started. Y'all, we didn't talk about this last week. Amanda, we should probably blame Amanda because Amanda was gone and a shot's already fired. And Christian and I were just unruly.
We were unruly, but
we were everywhere.
We could have used some more well-rounded predictions or less outlandish things out there.
We were just talking. We didn't know what we were saying.
Yeah, you guys severely lacked some Amanda in that last episode.
Yes, 100% no Amanda.
Brody didn't even listen to my hot take. He just blasted right through it.
He actually had a hot take. He's like, he put the time together. It was a really hot one, and we had a technical issue. And he's like, so what'd you think about that? And I'm like, all right, so moving on to the next section.
He was already moving on. I'm like, no. What'd you think about that? And he's like, yeah, milquetoast.
I went back and I listened to it. I'm like, oh, that was actually really hot. And then I was like, just
really
buy me time. We had a tech issue. So yeah, we got through it though.
We're glad you're back.
Yeah, the group is back together.
How was Florida?
Florida was cool. I mean, it was nice to get out of like the negative 20-degree like cold weather that most of the rest of the country was experiencing. But I was able to tune in a little bit for your episode.
Yeah, I did see you jump in for a quick.
Yeah, for a little bit.
We'll tell you what, we did decide after the episode, why don't we open up bingo to the entire world? And let's just let our listeners jump in. And we had no idea. When we just put it out there, we have an awesome special guest who's going to be playing with us this season as well. But we had 34 people sign up.
Yeah, and this is like, okay, so if you don't remember, we did a bingo like card that we designed for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. The three of us just kind of followed along and see, what things we could kind of predict. And if we all remember correctly, I won by a landslide.
That's right.
Who won?
It was me. Definitely.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And this time we're kind of like opening it up and we're still doing a lot of trial and error. So we're really excited to see like what the feedback is. Hopefully by Ahsoka, we have like a bigger, more refined system for this, but this will be a fun journey to bring some of our fans along.
Now, some of the rules of how this is going to go down for bingo, just like typical bingo, we got to call it out. So just because you think you saw it in the show does not necessarily means it happened. So, I mean, you can message us, you can let us know, but we are going to announce the numbers every Thursday when we go live at 6:00 Central Time. We'll say, hey, this is what happened this week. And by the end of the episode, we'll give out the numbers. So you can put it in the chat here. If you want to be first in line for that t-shirt, you can put it in the chat. Otherwise, when it goes live the next morning, it goes out. And we put our show out 6 a.m. Central Time every Friday. So you can message us afterwards and claim your shirt if no one has by that point. So we'll be tracking it. 2 things happened this week, though.
Yeah.
Cross off the card. If you were so lucky to have those numbers randomized onto your bingo card.
Absolutely. Now, I will say there was a technical issue. We did have 35 and another number duplicated twice. So if you've got a duplicate on number 35, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be sending those back out with something about Kondo Onaka, because I don't even remember what 35 was, but someone messaged me like, this is here twice. I'm like, well, this is our first go around.
Yeah.
We're learning. That's not going to happen again. But speaking of things that are pretty special, I'm really excited to bring in Star Wars aficionado Darth Choco.
Yes,
Let's bring him in.
Bring him back.
Come on out. Welcome.
Darth
Hello.
Choco, it's been a minute. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing excellent. I'm doing really good. God damn, it's a good time to be a fan because bangers after bangers. Like episode 1 of Mando, season 3, obvious banger. But also if you're keeping up on Bad Batch. Absolutely.
Yes. Right?
Okay.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
Oh.
Sorry to bring it down. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, Christian hasn't seen it yet.
I'm right there with you,
you
man.
are doing yourself a
Banger
disservice.
of an opener on The Mandalorian.
You just let the man talk.
No, as someone who does a lot of Star Wars lore, answers a lot of questions, this episode answers a question that I have been asked probably 500 times. So get on Bad Batch as well.
It's so good.
Nice.
Yes, it's so good. Now, obviously, not everyone's seen it. We haven't reviewed it yet, so we're obviously not going to jump into spoiler territory. But we love it.
Yeah,
we love it too.
Brody and I have been keeping up with this season as it comes out week to week, and especially since as Duel of the Ranks, we did the first season of Bad Batch really early on when we first started, and it didn't score that well cumulatively. No. I can already say this second season is like giving so much more that I wanted from the first season.
I will say, as I walked into this recording tonight, I was on the phone with a friend of the show who was arguing with me, or debating with me, I should say, that season 2 is not that great. This man will remain nameless. I will not throw this person under the bus, but we all know him.
Oh.
We all know him.
We all know him and hate him.
Choco.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh no.
Great guy.
I honestly didn't really enjoy season 1. I stopped watching at midnight. I'm liking this one a lot better.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That's just me. It's all good.
Yes.
Even though we ranked it poorly, it has a special place in our heart.
Yes,
for
sure.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about the Bad Batch. We're here to talk about The Mandalorian, Chapter 17, The Apostate.
Yes, and who better to talk to us about it than, again, Darth Choco? You're over here doing Diet in the Force. Are you guys? You're covering Mando season 3, I assume, right? On your show.
Oh, absolutely.
What Star Wars podcast is it?
And we're gonna be doing. God, I have so many deep dive videos in the works right now that it's hard to get them out because you end up being an idiot and writing like 5 videos at the same time.
Yeah. So, what were your honest, open thoughts of this first episode of The Mandalorian?
Wait, shouldn't we give a summary first?
For all the people who haven't listened, here's Amanda's summary.
Okay, we open the season with the armorer preparing a new helmet for a ritual baptism as a new child of the Watch is initiated into the clan, but is interrupted by a giant alligator dinosaur creature. A crowd of Mandalorians can't make a dent in it, but Grogu and Din sweep in and save the day. Din and Grogu stop at Navarro to see their homie Grief Karga. I really wrote their homie Grief Karga, and how well he's managed the renaissance of Navarro. After a brief run-in with some no-good pirates, Din and Grogu are off to meet Bo-Katan at her empty castle, her army having left her due to her not carrying the Darksaber. Din tells her he's going to Mandalore to bathe in the springs beneath the mines to redeem himself in the eyes of his creed.
Boom.
There's
so much.
You think so?
Yeah.
I didn't think there was much at all.
A solid start. You're going to have to explain yourself.
It was the weakest start of any of the Mando seasons. Are you serious?
Whoa.
Are you serious?
What was
What's
it?
Weak.
I would love for you to break down for me real quick what it is that you loved.
All right. It was awesome. Yes. Opening up, like Amanda was saying, with the ritual, just giving us more insight to what the Watch is doing. And then opening with that great action. We've got an awesome crocodile rolling around. Yeah, new beast. A wonderful intro for Mando to come in and blast its intestines out onto the beach.
Okay, yeah, the blasting of the intestines was a great touch. I'm so glad they added that in.
Yeah, it was cool. And this reminded me kind of.
And now the Mandos have food.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's wonderful.
Turtle soup, alligator tastes like chicken. Yeah,
yeah.
There you go.
And so it was kind of cool. Yeah, harkening back to where we had the crate dragon opening up season 2.
Mm-hmm.
We've got this dragon creature opening up, but it established the multiple different conflicts that you can kind of see ahead, like the pirates. We're gonna have some friction between him and Bo-Katan, and we've got his dealing with being an apostate, or and so I feel like it really lays out a solid start of what is to come. We see Navarro and how much it's changed. High magistrate bringing it to the flourishing to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
his cape doesn't even have to touch the ground.
Yeah, the droids carry it for him. And then I think my favorite portion was the introduction of the conflict with the pirates and then the dog fighting in space. Like that was really cool, and I think the music was utilized best
What
there.
about
But having
Babu
gory and
Frick's
sharp,
people? What are they called?
the
Anzellans.
yeah,
I
Anzellans.
loved them
Yeah,
this episode.
yeah. So it was fun. Yeah,
baby.
yeah, like it was fun, and they slammed so much within what 35-minute
Yeah.
runtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be yeah. What did you think, Darth Choco? What you said it was a banger of an episode. What am I missing?
Yeah, you weren't missing anything. I feel like you hit every, because this episode did almost everything. Something I'm curious about your guys' thoughts on is obviously we had the reunion of Grogu and Mando in a different show.
Mhm.
Yep.
So some people had took issue with that. And I was hoping, my stance on that was always, you know what, just depends on how they address it in the first episode. Maybe that'll win people over or whatever. And they just don't.
They just didn't. They
Yeah.
were like,
They don't
Book of Boba
care.
Fett didn't happen.
He's here.
I
Don't
got asked
worry
that
about
today.
it.
Yeah.
But other than that, like he said, this episode did everything. It did character building, for all of our mainstay people. It did world building, showed us how Navarro's changing. Now we also have, he's looking for a droid part because he wants IG-11 to come back. We introduce how okay, I did love the alligator turtle thing. It's like an alligator snapping turtle.
Yeah.
If you look those up, they're crazy looking. But I thought the Mandalorians were stupid in that scene, and it bugged me a bunch because it took them way too long to start flying to begin with. Because I was to watch it like, homie, you got a jetpack, like
That's got to be like option one.
Yeah.
You know.
and then they like grapple to it, and I'm like, what are you gonna do? You're just tied to this thing. Like that's a bad idea. And of course it rolls and stuff, and the armor is like, I got a hammer, and starts running out there, and I'm just like,
But I'm gonna carry you out first.
no, it's I don't know, but no, a lot of action. There was a lot of humor, a lot of levity in this episode. It brought the camp that we love in Star Wars back in a big way. Oscar the Grouch is now a pirate king. He just grew out his hair and he's just running this pirate ship. Like that was cool. It explained, Bo-Katan's plot of like in this time jump, right? Because this is a time jump. We see that through the growth on Navarro, that the fleet that she had gathered is gone and everyone's gone because they were waiting for the Darksaber. Mando asked to join her, right? Now we know he's going to Mandalore. Like it touched on just about everything that has been introduced in the past, other than really Moff getting in the New Republic, which is what Rangers of the New Republic was going to be. So them saying they recruited Cara Dune made me a little sad.
I was so excited that they addressed that, even though we didn't even have that on the bingo card, did we?
No, but we've talked about it in the past about like how
they're going to talk
they
about
should
it.
handle that character. I was really glad. Yeah, just like it was a good address and it makes sense. It fit with the show, I think.
Honestly, I bet money that was always the plan, and that's what Rangers of the New Republic is. It would have been her on missions after being recruited by them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also kind of feel bad for the actor. Her new movie didn't do super well. It made like $400 in theaters.
Oh, that's like a new record.
Darn.
So that's something to be proud of, right?
Literally sub $1,000.
Wow.
It made $400 in theater.
Wow. I did want to bring up that opening, which was such a really great misdirect because I thought that we were watching Baby Din be initiated, and that was just a really great kind of, would you call it a red herring or just sort of like a fake out that then Din and Grogu kind of sweep in on the Naboo starfighter, which it kind of confuses me. I'm a little confused about how Din is feeling about his relationship with the other Mandalorians. Like, he knows Bo-Katan is sort of like the opposite of his ideals, but he still wants to follow her and like that mission. But then he is also banished from the armorer, but he's still keeping an eye on them and keeping them safe. So I was like, was he just hanging around waiting for them to get attacked or trying to stay in their good graces?
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing there patrolling, but I kind of see him as he's a character wanting reconciliation between the two factions, or like he has a picture of Mandalore in his mind and he wants to give the dark saber to Bo-Katan, but like the armor has provided a way of like redemption, and he's like, I'm gonna go for it, but I don't want to be alone. Like there's got to be something after, redemption. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I don't know. For me, this episode was so unbelievably like paint by numbers, which is why the story, I think I gave it like 2.5 out of 5 stars. Where, yeah, I mean, look, like it's not, or no, sorry, 2.6. So I give it a lot of love.
ooh.
Overall, I mean, Christian, you gave this episode an 85.6%. Amanda, 78.4%, and me a 69.2%. I don't think it's that bad of an episode. Sure, the immersive universe was high. The music, I didn't think there was like there wasn't anything new that Ludwig Göransson presented that was fantastic. It was fine. It was a lot of the same stuff, and that's what this episode felt like to me. Present a lot of the things we already know, we already love, and just retouch on some of these things. I thought the characters were okay. Again, the pirates were kind of campy to me. There wasn't like I wasn't like really that into it. I'll touch more on Grief Karga in a bit here.
High Magistrate. Grief
Yeah.
Karga to you, mister.
Yeah, who's
I will say
also
they
Go
did
ahead.
lean heavily into the pirates. Like when he's like Avast, I was like, "Dude, okay,
Yeah.
all right, all
Space
right."
Do they
pirates.
say Avast in that galaxy?
yeah.
They
it-
say a
First, I
lot of
never
things.
heard.
I loved the pirates personally.
Yeah.
I thought it was great to just have it built the immersive universe for me to see. Yes, pirates used to come to this spot all the time, and now they're no longer welcome.
Mhm.
And Grief Karga had to stand his ground. And then, of course, we have the dogfight out there, and we're introduced to this Oscar the Grouch type sea monster pirate captain.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me of the things that I loved about Clone Wars, where you just kind of have these random villains that make sense to run into randomly in a galaxy full of incredible creatures.
Yeah.
In past seasons of Star Wars series, especially the live action ones, I've griped about the lack of species diversity. So I loved that we got some front and center, really great practical special effects makeup in a lot of these scenes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and the SFX on
Mm.
everything with that creature was awesome.
Mhm.
Like, and I noticed that the close-up shots were. I noticed they were like it was great CGI, but all the close-up shots were absolutely. They looked like they were real props,
Mhm.
and everything was done in that way for all the close, which is how it's supposed to be, which is awesome. I will say KG's joined the chat, and I don't think there's any time KG said anything where I've disagreed to this point. Usually she backs me up too, a lot more often than not, especially with Boba. 6.5 out of 10. Now I did again. I said 69.2, so I gave a little bit more. That Mossy Jones was too cliche. Yeah, it felt very Pirates of the Caribbean, and it was like I almost heard Mando saying as he was getting ready to flip the button, be like, "You'll always remember that today was that you almost caught Din Djarin." Click, boom, gone. Like I heard it. I heard it in my head, and
I did not.
that's what I saw.
Oh.
That's what I saw.
I feel like introducing this level of camp is what is needed for us to get Hondo Ohnaka on screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think-
Hondo's definitely one of my top
Okay.
5 Star Wars characters of all time.
Yo.
And he is such a personality that you can't just like throw him into like a super serious like Mandalorian like
Yeah.
no camp.
Put him in
you know?
Andor, doesn't work.
Yeah. No.
My friends.
I I definitely see where you're coming from. And what you mean by being a paint by numbers. And there are certainly things I took, issue with. Also, we, me and Element 7, always kind of joke back and forth whenever a character does something like brand new. We're like, oh, like he's a Mary Sue. We used to joke because the guy who has hated droids all of his life can now fix droids after they self-destruct, and then
Yeah.
he's also an ace pilot now after having driven his space
Clunky.
Dodge Caravan for
Yeah,
like
no kidding.
Yeah.
Like
Hey,
that was
2
a
years
space
is all you
conversion
need.
fan with the curtains and stuff. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But it's awesome to see, and I feel like this show, The Mandalorian. I love that we can have something that's serious and dark like Andor, at the same time have something that is pretty. It was very fan servicey, but I was a
Yes.
fan being serviced, and so you mind it less.
Yeah.
That's all.
That dogfight though, I thought was pretty cool.
It was
That
it was like my favorite
wow.
part.
And
Yeah,
Sneaky.
and the music I
In
think
space.
shined the most in that scene, and it was just really cool to showcase. You're all just rallying behind. You want to cheer.
It felt like the animated shows, like that's what the pace and like the tone of it felt like to me, was a lot of those animated Clone Wars episodes. And like
'cause
that's what
it's
this
kind of
felt like.
You're here doing this thing. Now you're in this completely different environment, like setting up this part,
Yeah.
and then you're in this part. And I liked it. I thought that was a great way to set it all up. You can see where all of these like paths are starting and where kind of the direction of the season wants to go then.
Well, I also feel like, and I've said it before, 30 minutes is way too short. It just feels like, okay, we're here. I want to be a Mandalorian again. And she's like, bruh, I told you what I've already told you. You got to go to the waters of Mandalore. He's like, okay, I'm going to still do that. And he's like, all right, I guess this is the way. Thanks for
But he
saving
also
us.
brings that crystal too, and kind of like shakes her faith a little bit, but shows her like, hey,
Okay.
everything you've been spewing at me, look at this. And she like swallows it, and then she's like, all right, we'll still go.
Yeah. Well,
So that crystal, was that from Book of Boba Fett? Because I do not
I don't
remember that at all.
I think that's new.
Do you know Darth Choco? Do you know where that came from?
And no,
I thought it was
don't
new.
recall
I
that.
thought they just
think it's
played it
new.
off as like just
Okay.
new. It
You
happened.
haven't
Interesting.
read the 39th Mando book in the sub comments of Section A, Plot B within the comic itself?
Not a real fan. No, I did. We kind of touched on it earlier in our conversation, but it was a pretty bold choice to just like not mention Book of Boba Fett at all, except like in the recap, like
Yeah,
last season.
previously, it was like previously on the Mandalorian, but hope you watch Book of Boba Fett.
And it did
Yeah.
have that clip of Mando and Paz Vizsla. And as I saw that, I was like, wait, we just rewatched season 2, and I don't remember that happening.
Yeah.
That was all part of Book of Boba
Yeah.
Fett. Like that makes
Hinges
no
very
sense.
much on it.
Yeah.
Well, I had someone today ask me, and she was like, I'm so excited for Mando season 3. And I'm like, great. She's like, yeah, I didn't watch Book of Boba Fett. Not going to watch it. That's not going to be like a problem. I'm like, well,
Ooh.
Not really, apparently.
I guess not. As long as you don't really remember how it ended for
I
season
mean,
2.
you can watch the Mando
Yeah.
episodes of the Book of Boba Fett.
That's what I told her to do. I'm just like, go back and watch. It's pretty much Mandalorian. Just go back and watch that. Back half is Mando.
All they need to do is take those parts out and call it a what did they call those for Marvel, a one shot?
Yeah.
The Mandalorian one shot, to lead
what it
into season 3.
Yeah.
Just cut that out and put that separately
Yeah.
on
I think
Disney
we're all
Plus.
just and I think we're all just hung up on the label. It's like it was all telling us, part of the story anyway. It
It's
was
all
just-
in the
Well,
same
Jon
universe.
Favreau kind of upset a lot of people this
Oh.
week when he
2 years.
dropping bombs.
mentioned that the timeline that Grogu was with Luke was with 2 years.
Mhm.
So if you didn't watch Book of Boba Fett, Grogu was training with Luke Skywalker, kind of a big deal that you missed in that.
Yeah.
Go back and watch that. But someone on Twitter was like, how long do you think he was sitting on that bench for? And I was like, 6 months. Just like
Long
waiting.
time. Yeah.
So
But
funny.
yeah, that throws everything off. So it just I noticed a lot of people on Twitter this week were just like, how is that timeline making sense.
Yeah. So I think it lends us, we can expect stuff from Grogu. I mean, we are already seeing he's, more well versed with the Force, eating jelly beans, and like he's, doing his thing. But I think it's okay, safe to say we could probably expect some more big things from him because of that 2-year training.
That was the thing that was most important. It's also how I feel about Bad Batch. Is season 1 was so much of like, let's make sure she doesn't die, that they couldn't get to any stories, and in season 2 she has a bunch more agency and can do stuff, so it's better. Now that Grogu can do stuff, can actually keep up, and like, I think that's just going to lend itself to be a lot better storytelling. But the timeline, I mean, it literally was 2 years ago that it aired.
That's wild.
2 years ago, he gave it to Luke. It's been 2 years, and if you look at the growth on Navarro, that wasn't a couple months. That was a couple weeks.
I mean, that's a lot of progress for
you
2
raise
years.
a great point.
That is a great point.
It
takes a minute to build that. Yeah. No, like I said, I don't have any problems with the timeline. I mean, I just have a problem with the runtime itself when it comes for these episodes.
Nah, I like the shorter episodes because it is more of that fun, adventurous, like random encounter type of show. And I like that about The Mandalorian.
And that's fine. I just think that...
Except you hate it.
I don't hate it. I just gave it 69%.
Like nearly 70%. That's good. That's
yeah. Like it's not a hate. It's not a hate.
I'll remember
score.
that the next time I say a 69%,
yes, thank you.
Brody.
Yeah, I'm more just stunned you gave it a, B.
It was a solid way to start the season 3. I think it was a really solid way to start the show.
Well, like I said, it is what it is. It's out there. I thought it was fine. It is nothing for me compared to season 2's opener, where you have
Cobb Vanth.
Oh man,
your crush.
And you had sign language, like its own custom sign language for Star Wars that was invented for that episode.
Okay.
Tusken Raiders were humanized.
But we
Crate
got
Dragon.
We got the closest thing to an Ezra Bridger. Like,
Space Whales.
Live
we got
confirmation.
Purgils. This
okay.
episode. Yeah.
Freaking lost at seeing the Purgles because like it
made me believe in magic again. It was like I could feel like I was like Grogu looking out the window and being like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean I've been talking about this for like 10 years that the Force and hyperspace are just intrinsically linked, and then we started to see that in Rebels, right? Because Loth Wolves could travel and these, and then the High Republic pops off, and we find out about new information about how things, what we believe to be the only way to travel through hyperspace may not be the only way. There might be more mysteries, and then seeing the Purgles next to them, it brought back the wonder in like you said, it makes you believe in magic again, and which I love, because it's like, look, to me it brought back the unknown, right? Because it may sound stupid, I approach Star Wars more like a science. You know what I mean? Like I'm digging in, trying to get details.
That's why we invited you.
Yeah, it's science fiction.
You get a grasp on this thing, and then you look behind it and you find out, oh, there's a whole nother world back there. Holy crap. Now I gotta start over. But it's awesome because it's the journey that I enjoy. And I still need to understand how the ship works. Can Grogu go from the little pod to inside?
Yeah, it looks like he has a little like what is that? The Professor of Oz or whatever, like behind the curtain kind of thing.
I know.
But the
like
Purgles, the Purgles, just like even whales in real life, are just such like magnificent creatures that are, I think, awe-inspiring to anybody. So especially like the Star Wars space whales, and if you're a Rebels fan, this was like a huge shout out to you, which I am, so I was really excited.
Oh yeah, and it's tying right into Ahsoka.
And yeah, exactly. A lot of people were predicting that maybe we would get a Sabine Wren appearance by the end of this first
Would not be surprised.
episode, but I do think we might still get that. There's definitely going to be some plug and play with Ahsoka coming out soon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm stoked. I'm still stoked for this season. I will be honest. My expectations aren't high. I'm excited, but my expectations, I don't know. I feel like if this show ends up being like a B- per usual, I'll be happy with it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's okay. Like, it doesn't have to be Andor. I was watching a review yesterday where someone was breaking down why Andor just wasn't good Star Wars content. And I can appreciate someone not liking it. I just was like, this was the one piece of Star Wars content that if someone said this was nominated for an Oscar, I wouldn't be surprised. Everything else, I'd be like, really? How? So this,
Well,
I
like
don't know.
the original trilogy stuff was nominated, like that just broke cinema too. Like,
Yeah.
that did things as well. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
all
yeah.
about context.
True. But these Star Wars TV shows.
Yeah.
I don't think Mando's winning the Oscars. Maybe for technical, something in that realm with VFX or whatever. But
So I mean, I'm still a big proponent on like what is it that the show is trying to do, and of course I can have preferences on that, but like,
yeah,
you know, Andor is a wonderful steak dinner with a nice glass of red wine that you enjoy, you savor, and you know, and all this stuff. And the Mandalorian is like a delicious burrito. And then and then Bad Batch is like a hot dog, you know, and it's like I like all of those things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
They do different things. I eat
Time
them
and
at
place
different
for
times.
each.
Yes.
I can say
Yep.
this, yeah, steak dinner is nicer than a burrito, but like I'm probably gonna eat more burritos than I do steak dinners. You know what I mean? Like,
and how awesome is it that we're getting this variety? That the fact
Yeah.
that I do think on and I love how you phrase that there, Choco, because that is, I think, correct. And there are
Mhm.
times where, you know, I think there are folks who lean more into steak dinners than others. But for myself, a cheeseburger guy, I think I just want a little bit more. It's almost like it's a burrito,
It's too
but they're,
basic of a
they're
cheeseburger.
just give me a little bit more. It's all there.
Says the
It's like-
guy who says Star Wars is
Okay.
McDonald's.
It's like you're
Perfect.
going. It's like we're going to In-N-Out Burger, and they're like, "We got it all here," and I'm like, "Thanks." So like, but we don't have that sauce. I'm like, just a little extra. Give me another 10 minutes in runtime, and we're home. We're home.
okay,
We did it.
that makes sense. That makes sense. I thought you were, because the only thing I don't like is when is if someone would be like, I don't like this burrito because it's not a steak dinner, and you're like, that's
Yeah.
a stupid reason to not like a burrito because that's not
Yes.
what it's supposed to be.
Unless you exclusively eat steak dinners.
Yeah, but if you're saying, you know,
That's
it's
your
like a
own fault.
burger, but it was missing the sauce or just not enough of it, that's perfect.
Yeah.
'Cause
That's
that's
a
like-
fair critique.
You're
'Cause that's
judging
what-
it based on what it needs to be, and it could do that better.
And that's why this story hurts so much for me, because they're just, again, starting out and they're saying, okay, we're here. We got to be here. Okay, now we've got to go to Navarro. We've got to get IG-11 fixed. Okay, now we got to go to the next place. We're going to talk to Bo-Katan now. Hey, want to rejoin you? We're doing this thing. Oh, okay, you're not interested. Okay, bye. And that was this whole first episode for me, where it's
Would you have rather like stayed in one spot and like get back to like the slow space
Yeah.
western? Because this was a lot of
No.
information to ingest. And
it was a
made
lot of
fun.
information. And again, it was very paint by numbers. There wasn't really a lot of dialogue. It was just things kind of happening. And they're
There's
like,
a lot
all
of
right, there's.
dialogue. Grief Karga is explaining a lot of
I
things.
know, and I've
like
got a
the-
take on that too. All right.
Real quick, also something I realized that might have affected how I feel about it is Destiny 2 Lightfall just came out, so I've been playing some Destiny 2. And this first episode is like the beginning of a campaign of any video game where you run around to all the quest givers.
Yes,
and
Mm.
Mando
start
is
the
so a
quest
video
line.
game.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mandalorian has
from-
always been a video game.
Yeah, always since season 1.
Upgrade
it's
the
been-
armor.
Yeah,
Make
side
new friends.
quests,
Retrieve
upgrading
bounty.
armor,
Side quests.
and it works. You know that sells. People like that stuff. You know.
Yeah. We want to be. I'm someone who likes to run multiple quests at one time.
Yeah.
It's,
So let's
it's
stop
a-
thinking of it as a show. It's the first open world video game where you don't get to play it.
Yeah.
It's like,
There you
just
go.
think of you're
Whatever
watching
you
a
gotta say.
Twitch, and I'll be way happier watching Mando. That's what this is. All right. Well, I think that takes us right into the hot take
Well-
segment. This This episode is 77.73. What were you gonna say, Christian?
I was just gonna make sure if we didn't already mention, the cumulative rank.
77.
0.73. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's
You
a s-
don't expect the first episode to be like the 10 out of 10, knock it out of the park.
Yeah,
you
that
know?
we
Right.
can't have
You
every
can't.
season be season 2, episode 1. Like that.
Yeah.
That was a rare
Hyperspace
thing.
Hero says this episode was Mando getting the band back together. And
Yeah.
that was it. It was
was it.
reintroducing us. Yeah.
Speaking of bands, we also got another quick jib at another band in Star Wars on Navarro. It was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
let's
Just busting
Pump
out
out some
jizz all over the
CDs.
place. It was great.
pump out some CDs. Let's get it.
All right. Well, we had
Hell yeah, brother.
one more thing we want to talk about before we move into the hot
No,
take
let's do that
segment.
later.
Later? Okay. We're not going to do it now. Amanda wants to keep you around until the end of the show because otherwise you might not keep listening.
Yeah.
It's all about the bingo. All right. Let's do hot takes.
Don't be too proud of this podcast you've constructed. The ability to rank content is insignificant next to the power of an exceptional hot take.
It is hot takes time. And I've got a hot take that, you know what?
You've been teasing it all night.
I've been teasing it. I said it to someone yesterday, and the person said to me back, that's not a hot take. No one's going to think that's a hot take. That take is milquetoast. I don't think it is. We'll see.
We'll see.
Carl Weathers, excluding his one dynamic performance as Apollo Creed. Fantastic. Excluding that, I am of the mindset that he is not only not a good actor, he's just a bad actor.
Wow.
That is my take on Carl Weathers. Didn't say he's not a good human, but anytime I've seen him outside of Apollo Creed,
I don't think I have seen him outside of any.
Dude, he was awesome in Predator. What the heck are you talking about?
he's fine in Predator. He's fine.
I haven't seen a bunch of Carl Weathers stuff, so
I have
Don't throw
seen a
shade.
decent amount of Carl Weathers, and it's not a big fan. Not a fan. Doesn't sit well. Like it doesn't.
I'm trying to think of the roles because amazing job, Apollo Creed.
Happy Gilmore.
I loved him in Happy
Iconic.
Gilmore. Okay. And outside of that, the only other and Predator, but I can't remember him a lot in Predator because it's been so long in my mind. Just is thinking about Arnold, as it should.
Dutch.
Loved him in Arrested Development, but he was
Yeah.
playing Carl Weathers. So like I
Yeah.
don't know how well I can count that.
Yeah. Look, the comment section is tearing it up. They're not a fan of this take, saying they're not happy. So what is
I
everyone
will
else
say there was
thinking?
one line.
Boo.
There's one line though is that he did it in the Mandalorian that just didn't fit, like it didn't work, but I love it so much. And it's when Grogu goes to heal his arm and he goes, "He's trying to eat me."
I know.
Yes.
It
That
was such a weird
great.
line.
And he's like, I love, what was it? Was it in season 2 when he forms his hand like Grogu's like, have him do the hand thing.
I loved in this episode too, where he's like, his name's Grogu, and he's like, if you say so. Like that's for all the fans
If you say so.
who refuse to call him anything but Baby Yoda. But yeah, that's my take. Do we agree? Do we disagree? I don't think it's milquetoast.
No, I don't think it's milquetoast. I'm not a Carl Weathers connoisseur. I'll say it's a hot take, but I disagree.
I'm also going to say I disagree.
All right. No
I don't
reasons
have
why.
enough knowledge to I do
kinda how I
disagree.
feel.
I don't think he's a bad actor. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's winning any Oscars anytime soon. But I don't think we expect that on most people in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I like seeing Carl Weathers. There's a reality. There are actors who aren't very good that you like seeing time and time again. Carl Weathers is one of those guys where he's not a great actor, but he's likable and you enjoy seeing him. And I also am okay. I'm good with seeing him in The Mandalorian. I just think he's a bad actor. But nonetheless, I've gotten torn alive, so let's downvote this take.
I got a bad feeling about this hot take.
So who's got the next one?
I I've got one. Maybe not a hot take. We'll see. But I think the plot point of building back IG-11 is dumb.
I don't really understand why. So I
Exactly.
can't vote up or down yet until I know why he's
I
doing
think
it.
it's just silly. Like, yo, he blew up.
Yeah,
He has a whole statue. Let him be dead.
I'm
Like,
gonna
just
disagree.
build a different one.
I was surprised.
He's got trust issues.
I was surprised
I
that was
just
going
want
to
Taika
happen.
Waititi back.
Yeah.
I
come
get
on.
that.
When was it you had the prediction
That-
IG-11 would come back
Yep.
to life? I was like, I did not see that happening, but it happened
Already.
Ah.
already in this first one, and I was surprised by it, and I was like, oh, I wonder how this is gonna go.
Yeah,
That was
and-
a bit weird, like the whole like
Zombie
horror,
IG-11.
the horror shake the camera, like
Yeah.
whatever. That kind of took me out of it for a little
And then
bit.
they threw Grogu.
Yeah, and then like what he throw the statue on, he's like, well, that's using your head.
Yeah. Lots of Star Wars one-liners. But like obviously IG-11 like reverted back to his like earlier protocol, and they're like, okay, well, you have to go get a new brain piece if you want him to do that. So it's like, okay, so it'd be the same amount of effort to transform literally any other droid to build it to do what you want. Why are
Yeah.
you working with these scraps right now? And especially now the head is damaged.
Very much
Just
so.
get a different droid,
He's
man.
got trust issues.
Well, I'm sorry, it's dumb. I thought that was a silly plot point.
I think two things could be true at once in this case. He's got trust issues, or he doesn't maybe understand now that he's, found his he's opening up to droids. And also at the same time, it's like droids are droids, machines, parts, like find another one that can carry out and be your assistant,
Yeah.
Makes sense. So I get what you're saying. It worked for me in this episode. So what was your take? It was just dumb plot.
Yeah. Shouldn't have happened.
I agree.
I'm gonna agree
Thank you,
to
Darth Choco.
only until, and this is like there's an asterisk here. If there's ever a point where it totally makes sense. Right now, there's a lot in this first episode that was just kind of shoehorned. So I'm gonna agree with you for now.
Podwins is in the chat and they said it's the only droid he trusts. Yeah, but he just proved that he's not trustworthy anymore because his brain reverted back to be an assassination droid, whatever they're called. Is that what they're called?
Original programming.
Yeah, so it's like you obviously can't trust him.
Well, Amanda, you've earned a. Christian, do you have a hot take?
I do. Well, I have two because I had one in my mind, and then I said something before the show, and it really rallied up Brody, and so I'm like, all right, well, that'll be a hot take too. First hot take: I think this was the best opener for The Mandalorian. Out of the three openers we've
Ooh.
got, I think this is the best one for like
That is a hot
just
take.
awesome
That
Star
is
Wars
definitely a hot
content.
take. You got to say that's a hot take.
I mean, it's not. You can think that. I mean, I'm gonna say that's
You
milk
Make
were
toast.
that
like
claim,
you
that's
were
hot.
you were
That's a milk toast take.
you
No,
were
it's not even
screaming
milk
before
toast.
we turned on the camera,
Here's
man.
why
You
it's
were
milk
freaked
toast.
out when I
'Cause this
said
show,
it.
if we were any other show, we'd have something to debate on. But we're a data-driven show. I went back and looked at your previous responses. You really do believe that. As crazy as it is to me, you ranked this episode higher than you have anything else. So, you stating what you believe, we got the numbers to prove that. Nothing crazy there.
Literally, our hot takes are
That-
literally stating what we believe.
that is
So
literally
that's
what the hot
whole
take
point
section
of
is,
this
man.
Yeah, but I'm
segment.
just saying, like you said that throughout the entire show, so you're saying it's the best ever. I'm like, I've already disagreed with it.
Okay, so you're not saying it's a hot take.
No, because like I saw the numbers already. My
So-
mind's not
You
blown.
you should have
It's not
seen
ruffling my
him
feathers.
before we
Well,
turned the
KG
cameras
said it's
on.
hot.
He got so angry when I said it.
Angry. Yeah, you should have seen me. I threw
You
a
should have
camera.
seen him.
Yeah,
You
Amanda had
should
to
have seen
separate
him.
us. I was.
I
I'm
think
really
it's-
fighting
disappointed. Thank you, Amanda. Thank
I think
you.
it's a hot take, but I disagree with it.
That's okay.
Darth Choco, what do you think?
I mean, I do disagree with it. I
That's
think
fair.
this episode just had a lot to do. It had too much to do for it to be the best because season 2 ended and closed almost all of
So
the
good.
loops, right?
Yeah.
It closed in a way that answered almost everything we've had from the previous 2 seasons. There's really only like one remaining mystery, 2 remaining mysteries, which is why this episode was so it wasn't dialogue heavy, it was exposition heavy.
Yeah.
It was this is like they may as well just turn to the audience and been like, so this is what's been happening over this period of time in this stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
the droid thing, like you said, I think the reason the IG-11 plot happened was to remind us that his first protocol was to kill the child, and we need to figure out who sent that order because Din's was to retrieve it, right? So there's another plot going on there. That's the thing that was unresolved, but yeah, I don't think it was the best.
That's fair. That's fair. I kind of come at it with like the first episode premiere. There's really no pressure at all, so you can get away with like a slower space western, like laying a solid foundation. The second one of season 2, like that was a fun one that we talked about and broke down. This one I think had the most pressure, and it didn't like fail. And it really, I think, it picked up the baton or multiple batons and just started like, we're going to show you everything that we've got laid out for this right now. And I don't know, I think sky's the
they
limit
have
for
a
this
big
one.
plan for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something, but right now, unfortunately, everyone voted to take down. So
I got a bad feeling about this hot take.
all right, Choco, do you have a take for us? If not, no worries. But if you do, we'll take it. We're here to hear it.
So my take was kind of along the lines of something that was already said. So I guess it's probably not going to be a hot take. But again, it was the IG-11 horror sequence. I thought it was stupid, and I didn't like how it was shot. And I understand how they're like, oh, we want to put the stop motion feel back in it, but it was so like it made my skin feel weird watching it, and I just like I hated that sequence, and it reminded me a lot of like a very short part on The Simpsons where Homer's cleaning out the garage and finds half of a robot, and it's like, father, and he like throws it into the street. Hated that sequence, but that's largely already been said, so I guess that's lame. Also, I mean, Din Djarin is a Mary Sue, I guess. Maybe that's my hot take. He has
All
skills
right.
That's a
out
hot
of
take.
nowhere. Well, sorry, not that he's a Mary
Especially to
Sue.
Bo-Katan.
He is what people. He does everything that people accuse a Mary Sue of doing.
Mm.
No
You
one
can call him
cares
a
because
Mary
he
Sue,
looks
man.
cool.
Yeah. And he's a dude.
Oh, jeez.
You can call him a Mary Sue. Don't.
I've never
Don't hold
met a
back.
man named Mary until I met Din.
Wow.
What about Marion Seville from the movie Holes?
For a second, I thought you were going to like tie in
Ah, that's a great
Mary
movie.
Sue and Din Djarin, and I'm like, Mary and Sue, that's not the mix of those two names. Like he did that real fast.
Isn't
No,
there a
I
guy
think
named
you-
Mary on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? One of the creepy McBoyle twins?
Maybe.
Family?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
But I think you, with
Marty
both of your
Sue's
hot
what the
takes, you could even say, are you saying the Mandalorian TV show shouldn't even do stop motion? Because I would kind of, I think it hasn't worked out well.
I looked amazing with the blurg in season 1.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the blurg felt like watching old school Star Wars, and they put that in there specifically for that purpose. But it has felt jarring in other places, especially in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the ferret in season 2, I remember we talked about.
Yeah,
that was jarring too. So I get where you're coming from there. So
Would you call it Din jarring?
Oh.
I'm sorry.
He's ready for
I'll leave
children.
now.
That's an ice cold take for me.
All right. So for your first take, I will Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say for me, doesn't really ruffle my feathers. I'll say probably milk toast for me on that first one. On the second take, especially the Din Djarin's and Mary Sue, I couldn't agree more. He's always been great at everything. I don't find him to be that compelling of a character yet, and we're 3 seasons in. He's made special because of all of those around him, and he's pretty much great at everything. So I don't know. The Din
He's a
Djarin's.
video game protagonist.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. There's not really
So
anything
you need to
to him.
unlock a couple more skill points to
It's whatever
level
you need
up.
him to be.
Yeah.
It's exactly whatever you need.
You're
him to
the
be.
Master Chief.
Yeah, exactly. He's literally Master Chief.
No,
That's what
no,
he
no,
feels
no.
like.
Master Chief is way. We're not going to talk. No, don't
No,
even.
especially after seeing Pedro like emote in The Last of Us,
Mhm.
and you're like, oh, there's so much depth. Like you're doing the same thing. There's so much more depth here. No, that's bad. That's why I don't like him. But
Let's take the helmet off.
Yeah.
Let's get some more Pedro in there. Going forward. I think
Who
we all
are
need it.
you without the armor?
Apparently, he's pretty BA with a spear too. So let's see some more of that. He's better at that than the dark saber, that's for sure. So I'm gonna upvote that second take for sure.
Yeah, I'll give an upvote to the second one.
Let's do it. Roger, Roger.
Roger.
I feel proud now.
Yeah.
You got one.
You should, because we do a lot of milk toasts and a lot of cold takes here on this.
Unless you're
show.
me. You always get the Roger.
Always. We're so
Yeah, I would-
nice to Amanda.
Definitely be
Always.
joining y'all on the bingo for next time. And anyone in the
Yes.
chat
Yes.
who hasn't joined, like reach out to them and see if you can still. I found out something weird today. Well, not today, but did you know that Black people use Cash App and white people use Venmo? And there's like a major divide in the two. I didn't
This is
realize that
Really?
was a thing.
This is the first moment I've ever heard of that.
I have both Cash App and Venmo.
Which
Let's
one do you use
go.
more?
I use Venmo more.
See, I realized I haven't used Venmo in so long. I don't even know what it's tied to, and I'm trying to unravel this whole
I think it's
thing.
tied to PayPal.
So yeah, you can
to-
just
to get to
cash
it,
app.
but-
You can just cash app Amanda then.
Yeah, you can Cash App.
There
me.
you go.
It's all
Yeah,
good.
and for anyone listening, it's $1. You still have a chance to get in. Especially anyone that's in the. Oh, that's a funny comment there. Anyway, all right. All right. So with all that to be said, it's time for the last segment of the show. Before we go into bingo, it's time for trivia. Let's get it.
This is the way to trivia time!
All right, it is trivia time. And Amanda, you've got the 2 questions of the night.
Yeah, I just grabbed a couple from our stack of Star Wars trivia. So it won't be specific to this episode, but rather just general Star Wars trivia. Where were the Hoth sequences filmed? Were they filmed in Norway, Denmark, Iceland, or Greenland?
This is fun.
Norway, Denmark, Iceland, or
I'm
Greenland?
going to say Denmark.
I'm going to say Norway. What about you, Darth Choco?
They were filmed in Norway, and they were shot from inside of the hotel. They had the crew out in the snow in the blizzard, and
Yeah.
the actors were out there, and everyone
big
else was
snowman.
like inside of the hotel shooting through the door, and it was
That's so
miserable for
funny.
everyone.
That's awesome. Yep, that is correct. It is Norway. It looks like we
Ah.
got a couple people in chat who thought that one was too easy too. Here's a
sorry.
little like layup one too. This one's like a nice little underhand, like you're holding the bat too, and so you're able to like swing and hit it. So this one's to build
So
your
it's more
confidence.
embarrassing if you do miss it.
If you do miss it, this is embarrassing. Who went to look for C-3PO in Cloud City after he went missing? Was it Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, or Lobot?
Who went to go look for Hans? Wait, what's that?
C-3PO in Cloud City after he went missing.
Multiple choice again.
Princess Leia,
No.
Han Solo, Chewbacca, or Lobot? I don't know.
I'm gonna
Our
say.
question
I'm gonna
last
say
week was about
Chewbacca. I'm
Lobot.
gonna say Chewbacca.
Chewie.
It is Chewy.
Yeah.
KG
I am
Padwans.
forever like frustrated that in Battlefront 2 they never put a Chewie skin that had C-3PO on his back, like in
Ah,
pieces. That would have
That'd
been
been
so
awesome.
cool.
that would have been so
Would have been
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, that would have been nice. I did love that game. My PS4 doesn't work anymore, so it's like it's just dead. I've got to switch now. Just no Battlefront. So sad. But you know what we do have?
Bingo.
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 That's right. We
Yeah.
got bingo. And if you have your cards ready,
We had 2 numbers that we could cross off after this episode.
we did. Christian, you want to read off number 7?
If you were so blessed to have number 7, we had listed Dank Ferrick quoted by the end of episode 2.
We
We
didn't
got
even
it.
need that.
We got it in episode 1.
You got it in episode
Yeah,
1.
and then the second number that you can knock off if you have it is number 18, which was our prediction that IG-11 would come back to life.
Nice.
Really thought that was not going to be part of
Yeah.
the plot at all, but wow, that
Very
happened
surprised.
in the first episode.
First episode.
in the first episode. There's a lot of folks who do not have either of those numbers. I have both. So
Cheater.
I
yeah.
have 0.
Unfortunately,
My
hosts can't win.
my husband, he printed it out. He actually redesigned it so that way he could look at what each thing was, and he
Small.
carried it with him. And as we were watching, he'd be like, "Oh, I get to knock this one off." So it's been
Love
a
it.
fun, really charming way to get to watch this episode. It makes it a little bit more exciting too, you know.
Oh, totally.
For sure.
And if you do have your card, 35, number 35, you didn't hear this in the beginning. Number 35 was like it was a duplicate, so that's my bad, y'all. So we are going to be sending that out. We'll put it out on Twitter, but I think it was Moff Gideon teases the first order is what it was, and now we're saying something about a Hondo Onaka saves Din Djarin, saves Mando in this. So that's the replacement.
I will say, since I wasn't here last week, I didn't get to like throw in much of my predictions in here, but I did send a couple to Brody as he was making this out. And I added in the prediction that Grief Karga will get kidnapped this season. And I felt like the chances of that happening like shot up
Oh,
to
yeah.
90% with the pirates, with his high. And
Yeah,
I bet it's going to be the Carl Weathers directed episode too.
Yeah.
he's gonna make sure he's back.
Yeah.
For that one. Yeah. And so again, we got some comments here that missed it. If you did miss it, we have 18 and number 7. 18 being IG-11 comes back to life, and number 7, Dink Ferrick quote by the end of episode 2. Now, again, if you weren't listening to the beginning of this episode, first off, go back and listen. We're funny. Secondly, the other thing you want to be sure of, if you are the best way to, if you're wanting to put in your bingo first, is to be watching the live show 7:00 Central Time, where you can submit it in the comment section to us. Tell us you got a bingo, send us your card. Other thing you can do is the next morning, once the show goes live is 6 a.m. Central Time. That's when we're going to be opening up the doors again with the hour we're on the show, and then 6 a.m. the next day. You get a bingo card. You let us know. This is the show where we announce the numbers. So if you come back and you say, "Oh, I think this and this and this," you can make an argument. But if we didn't announce on the show, we're not calling. Just like a real bingo.
Yeah.
We didn't count the number. We didn't call it.
And we'll be
Hasn't happened yet.
keeping track of everyone's cards on our end, but you have to be the one that tells us you have a bingo. Otherwise, we're just gonna be like, "Oh, no one's claimed it
We
yet.
will
You gotta
say.
interact with
We'll
us."
say. We'll be like, "Well, it looks like 2 or 3 people haven't.
Might
told
be
us yet.
close. Yeah.
Looks like they don't want a shirt. This beautiful shirt Amanda is wearing today.
Yes.
Very, very swaggy. So
Comes in many
anyway,
different colors.
absolutely.
So yeah, stay tuned when next week we go over the next episode of Mandalorian and see what other parts of our bingo card we can.
I'm
knock off.
excited.
Me too.
I'd like to get 1 on my card.
Just one.
Just one. Well, folks, for anyone who wants to check out more about Duel of the Ranks, Amanda, where can they do that?
Google it.
Yeah.
dueloftheranks.com.
SEO.
Where you can engage with us a lot on Twitter, YouTube. we're throwing out some TikToks every once in a while. We're having fun doing this. It's not that serious, you know.
Amanda, you're going to be on the pod ones next week too.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Got to check that out.
Yes, I love talking about Rebels. So Pod Once is talking about Rebels, and I'm going to be on there as their resident Rebels fan.
All right.
From DOTR.
So go show Amanda some love next week. And Darth Choco, where can people check you out, your stuff, your content, all the great things you're writing, put together? Where can people find it?
Yeah, so you can check me out on TikTok. I'm Darth Choco. I'm also one of the members of Diet in the Force. Our podcast is Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, so please check us out there. We will be doing a giveaway of Mandalorian related stuff soon as our packages arrive. Although I did hear a little knock at the door, so it might be here right now. So stay tuned in order to check that out. And yeah, this has been a great. Thank you for having me on again. And yeah, we gotta collaborate more.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
a pleasure.
Always great having you on.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for this season. We've got some fun games. We're going to be sending out some fun swag. KG already won a shirt from before, so don't forget to send us the color and size you want. That's coming your way. Sending out another shirt. We've also got another prize and giveaway. A little secret special something we're doing this season. So don't tell them if they didn't listen to the live show. That's where we're going to be announcing some more fun stuff here. Really, really excited about it. So thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of Duel the Ranks, and be sure to tune in next week as we break down The Mandalorian Season 3, Chapter 18. See you then.